Hey, today I thought we'd take a look at some of my older favorite comics. This is actually a video request from the future, Jeff the Future. This is one of my favorite comics from the Star Wars. It's got a special untold story of Luke Skywalker in it. There's Vader, The Empire Strikes Back, and some of this, all this older artwork I really like to look at in here. See right there, the walkers. And I thought I had out the one that had Jabba the Hutt in it. I don't guess that I do. I've got so much stuff laid out everywhere. This is a first issue of Godzilla King of the Monsters. You know, when I was a kid growing up, there was only one store that sold comics. It was several miles from where we lived at, you know, living up, growing up in a rural environment. This is the only outlet that I had for science fiction or fantasy or reading or anything like that. It was I really did enjoy it. There's a good issue with the Ghost Rider. You know, all these comics that I have are from the late 70s. This one is a 2-in-1. This is a real good comic. It's actually in pretty good shape, considering the way that I store stuff. So, but there's the. This is one of my top. Probably going to be in the top 3 comics that I have as far as my favorites, and I have this as the end for the Green Goblin. You know, it follows the same storyline as the movie also, where his glider hits him. Yep. And here's the other one of my favorites, and I thought about replacing this one just due to the fact that it had a rip here. After looking on eBay, I was floored to see how much that one of these actually sold for. It was like $200 or $300. There won't be no replacing this one no time soon, but this one actually has Adam Warlock to come back. And Thanos had everybody, all the superheroes caged up, and there he is. He comes back, and it's the end for Thanos. Really, really a good comic. I mean, I could read this one every day of the week. Got several Shogun Warriors. Here's the first issue. Jeff just wanted to see some of the favorite covers that I had on some of them. And got a lot of Spider-Man. I thought I'd show this, and this was got the Iceman on the front of it, and Silver Surfer and Doctor Doom. And I got this one out to show you. You recognize who that is? It's Jimmy Carter. And there's one with Thor. I actually done a drawing when I was in high school, no, elementary school, of this one, Loki and Thor. I may have to see if I can find that one and let you guys look at that. It's pretty good. I used to like to draw when I was younger. There's Nightcrawler. Here's the Spider-Man with the Punisher. That's a good comic too. He's back. And here is a collector's edition Spider-Man that actually has all of his powers and how he got them. And it is a real good one. And here's a Marvel Tales 100th issue. I just like the way Spider-Man looked on this, and I used to draw this a lot when I was growing up too. This is 1978. And still again with the Green Goblin. And that's a good one right there with the Captain America on it. All new, 36 pages. The Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. There's so many different versions of Team Up and just different names for the comics. That's a good book right there to read too. Here's the one with Hulk and Submariner. And this one's always a good one to read too. There's a guy smoking a cigarette. I don't bless you. You can't get away with that today in a comic at all. Not for kids anyway. Here's Hulk and 3D Man. And Incredible Hulk versus Silver Surfer. That was a real good book too. There's the Hulk and Captain Marvel. And these are all the Iron Man books, and I have are real good too. But I can't show them all. They just take way too long. I just got out a few. That's a wait a minute, that's Star Trek. Well, those are still good. I think I mixed the piles up. Well, yeah, there's a Green Lantern. And there's I've got several of these too. 3D Man. A lot of folks might not know what some of these are. There's Miss Marvel. And there's another good one. Kicking ass and taking names. Iron Fist. And here's I only have a few of these, but these was a real good comic too. The Inhumans, the most uncanny heroes of all. Yeah. And this is actually a real thick comic. Here's a giant-sized Daredevil. And got the Avengers. This book's in pretty rough shape. This was one of my favorites too. Used to carry it with me everywhere I went. And like I said, we're still in the late 70s on these. I don't have many comics at all, hardly, in the late 80s. And there's the Defenders. Another Doctor Doom supervillain team up. These is always good too. And I just went through them real quick, but these are some of my favorite books. Like I said, I have a plastic tub, one of the big ones, plumb full of older comics and baseball cards. I've got some of the cards laid out here. May just try to do them all in one video. Captain America, that's another movie that I'm wanting to see. I've always been a big fan of that. And there's the Thor. That movie's coming out here before long. I actually thought I had a few more Thors out, but I guess that I do. Here's one a lot of people don't know either is Rom. I have several of these comics. And there's a Modern Comics of E-Man. That was a interesting book to read too. But while we're here, I'll just go over some of these older cards real quick. Jeff was wanting to see some of these. That's our Manny Moda, Yogi Berra, Sam Jones. I just got some of these off of the top part of the big tub. I'm not going to go through all of them. I had to break the vacuum seal that I had on the pack to get some of these out. And some of the nicer cards and some of the ones that I think may be worth some money one of these days are actually, well, there's one that should be in the safe deposit box too. This is Frank Torre. There's the '59 World Series. yeah, a lot of the ones that I think are worth, you know, I don't know. Well, there's a Sandy Koufax. What year is this? 59. Or in my safety deposit box. You know, a lot of these are in pretty rough shape, but they're still interesting to look at. Like this one actually has a picture of him. A lot of these cars from the late 50s have pictures, but also artist renditions on the side, which I think is pretty neat to look at. You know, some of these people, I don't know who they are. Well, right there's Carl Yastrzemski. '62. I don't know who a lot of these are, but Sandy Koufax again. This was just one of the little vacuum sealed bags, whatever you call them, that I had that I broke open. And these was in here. I'm not for sure exactly what these are. These look like photographs, but I know that they're reproductions. But you can see that the that edge around them. And this is Carl Yastrzemski, and number 4 of 33 photos, printed in the U.S. So I don't know. I'm not for sure exactly what these are. These are the only ones of these that I have. But I mean, we could sit here and look at this all day. I know the video probably run out here before long, but I just want to show some. There's Tom Seaver, and 1959 World Series. Let's quit looking at some of those and look at a little bit later ones. These are the 70s. There's Steve Yeager, Don Sutton, Steve Garvey, Tug McGraw, Bill Russell, Ted Williams. I mean, I don't even have any idea how many baseball cards I have. There's Pete Rose. It's in the thousands, I'd say. There's another Carl. Dave Concepcion. But yeah, Jeff was wanting to look at a few of them. But well, there's Ken Griffey, 1979. Let's look at some of these. I've got several packs of these right here too. This is Kmart 20th anniversary, 1962 to 1982, and I have just boxes and boxes of these. Pete Rose, Hank Aaron, Don Drysdale, Mickey Mantle. And I don't know if these cards are worth anything, but they are pretty cool to look at. There's another Sandy Koufax. It's got all the stats and stuff on the back. But this used to be a pretty big thing when I was growing up, and especially in the late 70s and early 80s. Collecting ball cards. I'm not for sure if they're even worth anything at all anymore. Don't even know if people still collect this. I know a lot of the younger generations coming up, it's a lot of the nicer action figures or the electronic stuff. The cards just seems to be the way of the past anymore. But you know, for me, all these hold memories, because this was really big when I was growing up in the late 70s. But just thought I'd let you take a look at that. I don't know how many of them, like I said, that I have. It's hundreds and hundreds of just the Kmart cards. But that's interesting looking back in time anyway. Well, I actually have 2 of those. There's another Hank Aaron. But it's interesting to look back in time anyway. So, any more video requests, I'd be glad to do it if I have the time. I have got several, probably about between 10 and 12 more Marvel figures, Marvel Universe figures. I should be trying to get some of those up here before long, but that's all I have today.